Hi guys, welcome to Multiverse. Today we are going to play with our Multiverse character, and we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the Deluge DLC that's coming up, and we're also going to talk a bit about the new Avengers trailer that was released today. So just give me a few minutes to set up things on my end, and we'll get started. Should give people a chance to log in as well. Almost there. There we go. I almost did make a live stream today. I was toying with the idea of maybe making a video about the there was a live stream by DCUO today about the upcoming DLC Deluge. I'm not sure why. There we go. Not sure why I wasn't seeing the comments. I wasn't. They always struggle a bit when they do the live streams. They have a hard time. I'm not sure why they have a hard time showing the stuff properly, or sometimes explaining the stuff properly. But mostly showing the stuff properly. Uh, I guess maybe SJ's used to using a PS4 to play DCUO, and when she's on PC, she has a hard time with the controls or the keyboard or something. I'm not sure what the what's going on when they do the live stream, but they often struggle with very simple things when they do the live stream. I understand that it's a bit complicated sometimes to do a live stream. I'm the first one to understand that somewhat it is a bit. Oh, I understood, Eric. I understood what you were talking about. So I'll be the first to understand that, yeah, it can be challenging sometimes to do a live stream, and sometimes things will go wrong. It happens. But I'm always a bit amazed at how they struggle whenever they do a live stream with DCUO. But there was a few. Well, let's talk about the Deluge DLC, and then we'll talk about the Avengers trailer a bit after. So basically, for those of you who missed the live stream, they showed a preview of the upcoming raid. I'll start, I guess, with the biggest issue I have with everything we saw today is that it seems that they added this weird mechanic to the raid that will require a lot of communication and cooperation between the players. And as they were saying, if the players do not follow the mechanic, they will be punished severely. They didn't mention anything about a new tier. See that's one of the things that they've showed a few things. They talked about a lot of things, but they didn't. There's a lot of pertinent things that they didn't mention. I understand that sometimes they're trying to be a bit careful about what they're saying. It's very easy to end up saying the wrong thing during a live stream, and then people will go crazy over that. So maybe they were not ready yet to discuss a new tier. Maybe they were not ready to discuss a few of the upcoming things that we will have. Maybe there's a few things that are still up in the air that might still change until before the next DLC comes out. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. But basically, what we know right now is that they've added this new raid. At the very least, there is a new raid. They mentioned also a new solo mission, I think, and some new duos. They've only mentioned them briefly, though. They didn't. The only thing they really showed, at least I think, the only thing they showed was the new raid. They've showed a few of the mechanics that will in the raid, which worries me a bit because you guys have been playing DCO for some time, so you probably will understand what I mean. Like, there's a few missions. Let's go. Let's try and see a perfect example. There's a few missions like. Oh, where is it? I could have sworn there was a four-player mission that.
I've got a toilet in my house.
Anyway, there's a few missions where sometimes you have to just do something as simple as activate. Well, the League of Assassin, I guess, would be a good example, but we can bypass the mechanic very easily. There's this mechanic at the start of the League of Assassin Stronghold where you have to click like consoles. Like each guy has to grab his own console, and then at various point, each player has to click on the consoles, and that alone can be challenging with some players. There are some players who are just not capable of clicking on the consoles when it's their turn to do so. And then the group ends up dying, or some players ends up dying. It's not as bad anymore because it seems that only even if like some of the players miss click on the consoles, we can still succeed and then continue, and like just one or two guys will maybe be defeated. Like there's this evil trap that threatens to take down the players. So it's easy enough to succeed even if some players mess up. But that's a very simple mechanic that fails more often than not. So I can already see player not being able to do the mechanic in the new raid. So playing the new raid with a random group of players will be a nightmare. I can already see that, sadly. No, you don't get a free armory if you get a second base. Each character on your account gets only one armory. You get one free armory per character, and that is it. So once your character has his free armory, every other armory you have to purchase. There's no escaping that. So even if you purchase 12 bases, yeah, you can't. But no matter how many bases you purchase, you only have one free armory. So basically, all the armories you see, I got one free, and all the other armories I have, I had to purchase them. Usually, I strongly suggest purchase them in a bulk. Oh, let me show you. I think it was in base items. What I strongly suggest is purchase an 8-pack armory. If you want to have extra armories, the 8-pack is the better deal. And also even better, during the Christmas, I think during the Christmas seasonal, or maybe a bit before, there was a pretty big sale on DC Universe Online. A lot of the stuff on DC Universe Online was like 50% off. The new DLC will be out March 29th, 27th, around that time. Just give me a second.
I'm just like
Yeah, the March 29th. The new DLC will be available March 29th. So basically, when we had the latest sale, I purchased a whole bunch of armories. So I would strongly suggest you do that. Purchase a whole bunch of armories. It gets a lot cheaper per armories, and also if you can get a sale, even better. So basically, I bought a whole bunch of armories for fairly cheap, which is why I have so many armories. Yeah, I bought quite a few at full price, but at various times during the DC Universe online lifetime, there were various sales, and I was able to purchase a whole bunch of armories on sale. So usually I would purchase the 8-pack bundle, which is the cheapest bundle per armory, and also I would purchase those bundles whenever there would be a sale. So whenever there would be a DCUO sale, I would purchase at the very least one stack of armories, sometimes two, which is why I have quite a few still in my lair to give to my other characters when I need it. The all-man gear, you have to go to Earth 3. Let's go right there. Let's go through the watchtower just to show you. So basically, as I was saying, the biggest worry I have with the Deluge DLC is that the raid will be impossible to do with random players. Hopefully, the event version will be easier. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that. We don't know yet how many duos we're going to get. At least I don't think we do. There was also, if you guys want to have more information, I will make a video a bit later just about the Deluge DLC. I almost didn't make the stream because I was toying with the idea of making a video about the Deluge DLC right now. But I will do the Deluge video a bit later. but we can already talk about it here.
There are a lot of jerks on this earth.
So basically, the story will be centered around Aquaman. We're going to have Ocean Master and the evil Black Manta, and other evil Atlanteans who will stir up some troubles, and obviously we're gonna have to stop them. There's this pretty cool new map that looks really nice that they've made.
Encryption codes, coordinates to the Panopticon's location, and a better understanding of their criminal bureaucracy. You game?
And so in the new characters that we're going to see, obviously we're going to see Mera, we're going to see Black Manta, and there's this new character called Corum Wrath that we're going to add in the game. Of course, we're going to see Aquaman himself, Ocean Master, and there's these new styles that will be added to the game, and there's this new material also that will be added to the game. They've also mentioned a free gift that the subscriber will get. Basically, there's 2 free base items that we're going to get, and there's a new material that we're going to be able to get also. So before I forget, the Owlman suit is from the vendor we have in this map here. So you see that little robot here? That's where you can get the Owlman suit. So go to the Earth 3, the Earth 3 Gotham, go see the old vendor here, and that's where you can purchase the Owlman set of gear. But you have to be combat rating 207 to even see the gear and to be able to purchase the gear. Obviously, you can see that you need some Ultra Box to purchase the gear. There's the regular version, and there's the Elite version. Let's go down a bit more. And there's the Elite version. You have to be able to have some materials on. And for the Elite version, you need some cooperative renown with New Justice Underground, which means you have to play the Elite version of the missions in order to be able to get enough renown to eventually be able to even purchase the gear. Oh, it's alright, Caris. We had fun, I think. So basically, the new Deluge DLC will have some new styles, some new materials. And there's going to be a free gift for members on the 29th, I think. Apparently, there's going to be like this little box that the members will have. It will give us 2 base items, and it will give us a new material. I forget the actual name. How to get coins fast? There's no miracle. You have to play the missions. Ideally, if you play the group missions, you'll get coins a bit faster. But you have to play every mission. So play the 8-player missions once a week. Play the 4-player missions anytime you get the chance, and play the solo missions daily. There's no miracle other than that. I'm on the US server. Right now I'm on US PS4.
If you really want to do something.
So as I mentioned, there's a new map that will be added to the Deluge DLC. There's quite a few missions that will be in Central City itself. Last year they had a new version of Central City for the Starro missions. From what I understand, this year it seems that it's going to be on the regular version of Central City. They're going to tweak. They've already started to tweak the regular version of Central City to add the Deluge content. The fast way to get ICR, you have to increase the quality of your gear, and there's no real fast way itself. I have a video if you want to look it up. I have a video with my Doctor Strange character where I go from like level 30 to combat rating 60 something. So that's one way you could if you do whatever I did in that video, you should be able to level up at least fairly quick to CR 60 something. But I'll just wait a minute. I'll try to give a quick explanation. It's a very quick and simple explanation, but I will try to help you out a bit. So basically, once you start playing, obviously the first tier one missions, you have to play the tier one solo missions. If you can play the duo, even better. And if you can play the four-player missions, even better. You should be able to get some better gear that way. Once you reach tier 2, one mission that allows you to gain some very good gear is the Gotham University Warehouse. In that mission alone, you get like 5 pieces of gear because there's various bosses in that mission. So if you play that mission, very often you end up tier 3 after this mission. Or if you're not tier 3, you're going to be very close to it. So if you play that mission once or twice, you should be able to get to tier 3 very quickly. Again, once you reach tier 3, then there's a few good missions. Like the Shady Nightclub is a really good mission to be able to get some good gear and to be able to get to tier 4. In the past, tier 4 was a bit tricky. You pretty much had to replay. Tier 4, the missions are in the open world. At tier 4, you pretty much had to replay the open world missions, so that once you played the open world missions 5 times, it would give you access to a mission that would give you some pretty nice gear. But then at some point they added the duos, the tier 4 duos. So if you play the tier 4 duos, you should be able to then skip to tier 5 fairly quickly. Obviously, once you reach tier 5, if you can play any of the tier 5 content, really, if you can play with Word Souls and Inner Sanctum. Oh yeah, that's what I was looking for, Inner Sanctum. Inner Sanctum, sadly, is one of those missions where you have to activate like 4 gears. There's one point where like you have to coordinate your whole team, and everyone has to click 4 gears at the same time. And holy crap, that mission alone is a nightmare if you're playing with random players. The Inner Sanctum, is one of those missions that you do not play with random players. You play it with your friends, you play it with your league, and that's it. If you play it with random players, you have 1 chance out of 10 maybe of being in a group that will be able to complete the mission. Because again, at some point in the mission, you have to activate like 4 consoles at the same time, and with random players, it's almost impossible to do. And I can already see the raid in Deluge will have a similar problem. So there's a place in the raid that I'm pretty sure random players will not be able to pass through. So ideally, with tier 4, you want to play the duos and gear up your character like that. You could play the 8-player missions. The 8-player missions aren't that difficult, I think. So you play the 8-player missions at least once a week. But ideally, what you want to do is you want to replay the duos as much as you can. And with tier 5, again, you have Dragon's Prison, which is easy enough to do. With tier 5, sadly, there's a pretty big gap between tier 4 and tier 6. Tier 5 covers like 20 combat ratings or something like that. The Red Hood gear, it's 130... 140, I think. 130 is the shock jock, I think. So I think Red Hood is 130. 140, sorry. 140, 145, around that range. It's been a while, so I don't remember exactly. Right now I'm on play PS4, and I'm a hero. You're very close. If it's 141 and you don't see the Red Hood gear yet, you should be able to see it soon enough. So sadly, tier 5, the raids on tier 5, like Paradox Wave and Nexus, for new players, these are pretty difficult. Assault of Battery is okay, although there's a bit of a bug sometimes that prevents you from completing the mission. So once you reach tier 5, your best bet is probably Dragon's Prison, maybe Mist Recovery and Strike Team, and of course playing the duos as much as you can, and also playing the solo missions gives you a bonus boss in the duos, and if you get that bonus boss, you can get some nice gear from that. But once you reach tier 5, tier 5 has the added challenge that you need at the very least half of your gear has to be vendor gear, which is combat rating 90, I think. So you can have like half of the gear that's 85 that you get from missions, and half of your gear has to be gear combat rating 90, so that you can reach at least combat rating 99. Once you reach combat rating 99, you can play the one-player iconic anomalies. Like you can play Cersei's Trial and Aegis of Truth at combat rating 99. That will bring you to combat rating 100. Once you reach 100, then play the tier 6, the early tier 6 missions as much as you can. And as soon as you reach combat rating 105, then you should be able to replay the Patrol Catastrophe. That should bring you, that should help you to raise your combat rating pretty quick. And then there's a few missions afterwards in tier 6 that you can play. But at the end of the day, there's no magical solution. You have to play the missions, and hope to be able to upgrade your gear, either with drops or by purchasing the gear you need. From what I understand, the members will get a box. The box will contain 2 base items and a material. I don't know if the material will be account bound. I don't know if the material will be for one character only. People have asked in the chat. People were asking questions, and there's not a lot of questions that were actually answered from the chat. One of the questions was that will the material be for one character or for every character, and we didn't get an answer to that. So I would suspect since they're giving a box, odds are the material will be only for one character. Hopefully they will give the option, if that's the case, hopefully they will give the option to be able to purchase the material for your other characters. For that, we didn't get all the answers. So there is going to be a new material and there's going to be a new 2 new base items, but how it's going to work for how many of those will you get? Is it going to be just one or one per character? Again, the truth is we don't know. So there's going to be a new map added to the game, which will be used for the 8-player content. I don't know if it's going to be used for other contents like the duos. We're gonna have to wait and see for that. The new map is called the Spindrift Station. It did look pretty cool. They've added a whole bunch of items that have those some nice textures to them and all that. Apparently now that they no longer have to. They no longer have the PS3. They can add extra textures that they couldn't have had before. They have more texture memory, if it makes any sense.
Appreciate it, but
thank you, Caris. And for the rewards, there's going to be a few things. They've shown something that will be known as a dry suit. They showed the regular version of the dry suit and the enhanced version. From what I understand, you're going to be able to get the enhanced version from. They've added reward boxes, not unlike what we have in Earth 3. Like if you look at the Earth 3 missions, I think I should be able to show it. Oh, it doesn't show. I'm so sad. Okay, usually if you're a member or if you purchased the DLC, you have access to an extra loot box, not an extra reward box at the end of each mission. When you fight the last boss, usually after defeating the last boss and completing the mission, you have an extra reward box. So those extra reward boxes will be back in Deluge. The Deluge will also have those extra reward boxes. And some of the stuff we will get in those boxes will be, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, I assume. And one of those stuff is that there will be the elite version of the dry suit, or the enhanced version of the dry suit.
hey, put out. I can fight my own battle.
Also, they mentioned that there's going to be some Deluge loot boxes. Basically, there's quite a few things we could get in the Starro DLC last year that sadly we're not. They're going to make quite a few changes from the Starro event last year, and a lot of the rewards we could get in the Starro event last year, they're going to put now in a Deluge loot box. So I'm not sure exactly. They mentioned how you could. I think they mentioned how you could get the loot box, but I forget what they actually mentioned. But basically, there's going to be a way for us to be able to get the some Deluge loot boxes, and those boxes will give us some rewards that we could get last year, that we no longer are going to be able to get in the Deluge DLC this year. And also, they've shown a set of gear that will be inspired by Mera. From what I understand, the Mera gear will be some vendor gear. So there's going to be a new set of gear inspired by Mera. It's a pretty nice looking set of gear that has all these scale, like fish scale textures to it. It did look really nice. If you have an Aquaman character, or if you wanted to create a Mera character, that gear should work really well for that. And there's going to be a regular version and an enhanced version or elite version, depending on how you want to call it. And it's going to be available on the vendor. So the vendor will have a Mera-inspired set of gear. So there's going to be the Spindrift set of gear that will be, I think it will be either dropping from missions, or it will be dropping from the reward boxes that members will have at the end of each mission. You don't get the enhanced gear from elite mission. What you have to do is that you have to play the elite mission, raise your renown from that elite mission, and once your renown is high enough, then you can purchase the elite gear from the vendors. I'm not sure if it will be one of the best updates. It should be okay. Again, the biggest gripe I have is with the raid. The raid will be pretty much be impossible to complete with random players. It's sad, but that's how it is. I'm not sure why they're doing that. I guess they're trying to please the people who are used to playing with their league and who want some more quote-unquote challenging content. But usually what they end up doing, whenever they do that, they pretty much end up excluding all the casual players from that content. Again, it's a bit sad, but that's how it is. There should be enough content despite that. Like, even if for some reason you cannot complete the raid, you should be able to complete everything else. But again, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see how the mission actually really plays out. I hope that at least the event version of the mission will not have those mechanics, so that if you play with random players, that you have a chance to be able to complete the mission. But again, we don't really know at this point, so we're gonna have to wait and see until we actually see the content.
Thanks, but I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, sadly, it pretty much does that. So again, as I mentioned, we're going to get an extra box if you're a member, or if you purchase the Deluge DLC.
Appreciate it, but
Whenever you're going to complete a mission, like whenever you're going to defeat the end boss, you're going to get a reward box. It's going to have the elite version or the enhanced version of the Spindrift set of gear. The Spindrift set of gear looks really nice. It looks like some sort of deep dive set of gear, like some sort of deep dive suit with this big dome for the helmet. I can already imagine a lot of players recreating the evil Mysterio using that gear.
hey, put out. I can fight my run.
Get away!
So that pretty much covers the Deluge DLC for now. I will try to make a video specifically for that a bit later, and I'll try to have at least some visuals of what the new styles will look like. And now let's talk about a little bit about the new Avengers trailer. You guys saw there was a new, probably you guys probably saw there's a new Avengers trailer that came out today. If you don't want any spoilers somehow, I would suggest you don't listen to what I'm going to say for the next few minutes. I guess I'm going to start with the bad stuff first. I'll get rid of that, and then afterwards we can talk about the good stuff. They seem to be trying. They seem to be trying to turn the Marvel universe into the Guardians of the Galaxy universe, if it makes any sense.
I appreciate it, but we better not be seen together.
Yeah, I'll go in a bit, Kyrie's. What I mean by that is that if you look at the poster, there's also a new poster for Avengers Infinity War that was released, and they gave the poster a really clear theme. Like they pretty much made the poster look very similar to the Thor Ragnarok poster that they had earlier, which by itself is not a big deal. The problem I have with that is that one of the problems I have with Thor Ragnarok is that they made the film very jokey. In itself, it wouldn't be a problem, but they were trying so hard to be funny, and they were failing about half of the time. Like yeah, about half of the jokey stuff really wasn't even funny, and also very often their jokey stuff would undercut some very dramatic moments. So they would have this dramatic confrontation between Thor and Surtur, and Thor would crack jokes, which pretty much undermine the whole tension of the scenes. And I'm very worried that they're going to do the same thing in Avengers Infinity War. They seem to think that because Guardian of the Galaxy was a success, they have to turn every Avenger movies into jokey movie, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, which drives me nuts a bit. They had a perfect tone for their films. They had Captain America: Civil War, which was a great film. Why not continue in that tone? The first Avenger, although the first Avenger was a bit jokey, but with Captain America: Civil War or Captain America Winter Soldier, they had a great tone to their films, and they had some humor. Those films, even with the somber tone or the more serious tone, they still had some humor. But now it's as if they're doubling down or tripling down on the jokey stuff with every film that they're making. Like Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange had a pretty serious tone, but it still had humor. But somehow they seem to want to get away from that and go even deeper into jokey territory. So that's the biggest worry I have about the Avengers Infinity War, is that they're going to go full jokey. Like there's this joke in Tropic Thunder where Robert Downey Jr. says to Ben Stiller, never go full retard. Well, it could almost apply to this. Like you can go jokey with your film. That's fine. The Marvel Universe movies always had a bit of humor, but you don't go full jokey, and that seems to be what they're trying to do. It seems that they've decided that jokey is their thing, and they're going to go full jokey. So that makes me a bit that makes me a bit worried, because I liked the Marvel Universe the way they were doing it. Each movie was different enough.
Come on, Ultraman. Think you're so tough? Huh? Face me in
Most of
person.
the movies were serious enough, with some humor added to them. But now it's as if they've decided that it has to be 100% humor, 1000% humor. So that's sadly the biggest worry I have after seeing the poster for Avengers Infinity War, and after seeing the trailer. The trailer had some funny bits. Don't get me wrong. Some of the jokes were actually funny, but we're supposed. we're supposed to think that the stakes in Avengers Infinity War will be high, that there's going to be real stakes, and supposedly there's rumors that there's going to be real consequences. There's rumors that one of the Avengers will die in Infinity War. Some people are speculating that it's going to be Iron Man. Some people are speculating that it's going to be Captain America. From the trailer, we could almost think that it might be Thor. But if they have a dramatic moment, like let's say Captain America dying, and then they have jokey bits right after, it's going to undercut that moment.
Thanks.
So that worries me a bit about the upcoming Avengers film. But visually, there's a lot of things visually that looked really nice. And for if you ever saw the previous trailer we had with for Avengers Infinity War, we see more of Peter Parker with the Iron Spider suit. I guess he's going to use that for quite a bit. And we see the Hulkbuster armor, and here they've added an extra twist, whereas Hulk is the one actually wearing or Bruce Banner, I should say, is actually the one wearing the Hulkbuster armor.
Appreciate it, but
And I can already imagine the moment where we will, at some point we see a scene where a whole bunch of evil bad guys jump on the Hulkbuster armor. I can already imagine the scene where Bruce Banner or where Hulk actually comes out of the armor and bashes all those evil bad guys. But it was awesome to see. I loved the Doctor Strange movie. It was awesome to see Doctor Strange once more. There was a funny bit with Spider-Man, where Spider-Man introduced himself as Peter Parker to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange goes like, "I'm Doctor Strange," and then Peter Parker goes, "Oh, you're using your fake made-up name. Oh well, then I'm Spider-Man then." So that was a funny bit, although I'm not sure why you had to say a fake name or made-up name. We could have said his cool name.
appreciate it, but
So again, that's probably another example where, yeah, the bit was a bit funny, but it would have been funny without seeming disrespectful, I guess, to the character, if it makes any sense. I know that at the end of the day, it's just movie characters in a silly comic book movie. But there's ways to treat it with fun without
Thanks, but I gotta
without laughing at the characters. Like you can laugh with the characters, not laugh at the characters.
I appreciate it, but
What do I know about Dick Grayson? I know everything. And my opinion is he's a cool dude. Dick Grayson was the original Robin. He was created in the 40s. Basically, the idea was that they wanted Batman to have a sidekick character, to have a young character with him, so that younger audience would be able to identify with that young character. So they created Robin so that he would act as a surrogate for the audience, which was thought to be kids at the time, which was a bit of a mistake, sort of. It wasn't a mistake in the sense that Batman and Robin became iconic pop cultures, or pop culture icons, I should say. But it was a mistake in the sense that almost no one identifies with Robin. When you look at Batman and Robin, who do you want to be, Robin or Batman? Most readers identify with Batman. Adding a character that's the same age as the reader, just so that the reader would identify with it, is a mistake that we see being repeated over and over again. People don't seem to understand that even if you're a 12-year-old kid, you're not going to identify with a 12-year-old kid. You're going to want to be Batman. You're going to want to be Spider-Man. You're going to want to be Iron Man. You don't want to be Robin. I'm sure there's a kid somewhere who wants to be Robin. And there was this awesome fan film that was made a few years ago called Grayson. Look it up on YouTube. It's worth every second you're going to be watching that. It's a fan film that someone made. Basically, I assume they were a big fan of Dick Grayson, and they made a really good job with that.
Now you don't. You just got the GCPD
Well, I guess, Andrew, you're the one exception.
Days are numbered.
As I said, I'm sure there's some people who want to be Robin, but as a rule of thumb, if you ask everyone who do you want to be, they'll say I want to be, they'll say I want to be Batman. The same with, it's as if you ask people, who do you want to be, Luke Skywalker or Anakin, not Darth Vader, but the young Anakin. Pretty sure everyone will say they want to be Luke Skywalker. But there's this awesome film, Grayson,
Ultraman really has
where essentially they
watch.
I'll try not to spoil it too much, but basically you have
Ultraman.
Batman that sort of kind of dies somehow, and Dick Grayson decides to come out of retirement, and he comes back as Robin to try to find Batman's killer. So if you never saw that, watch that. It's pretty awesome. It's called quite simply Grayson, which was also a bit weird, seeing how when they made that film, we already had multiple Robins, and also Dick Grayson at the time was a Nightwing. Like nowadays, Dick Grayson is known as Nightwing in DC Comics. The reason for that is that in the 80s there was this awesome series called The New Teen Titans by George Perez and Marv Wolfman, and Perez and Wolfman decided to create some growth, to have some growth for the character. I guess they thought that Dick Grayson had been Robin for like 30 years probably at that time, or maybe even 40 years. So they decided to that Dick Grayson needed to grow up a bit more. So they had him basically stop being Robin and became Nightwing. And then they replaced him with Jason Todd at the time. And at the time I guess they didn't want to be too different. So Jason Todd was basically a new version of Dick Grayson. In later years, they tried to make Jason Todd a bit different. They changed his origin story and all that. But somehow the people didn't like the character very much, or so it seemed at the time. So they decided to kill poor Jason Todd, which then led to him becoming Red Hood much later.
The people of this Gotham may not realize it.
And then, of course, when they had the storyline where supposedly Batman was killed, and he was killed in two different ways. In Final Crisis, he was killed by the evil Darkseid, but at the same time, they basically was killed. I went backward with that. Basically, was killed in his own comics. There's like a helicopter that crashes, and somehow we're supposed to think that Batman is dead. And at the very same time, Batman was also killed by Darkseid. Basically, they wanted to have Batman appear in Final Crisis, and they wanted to kill Batman in the pages of Final Crisis. So they didn't take any chances. They killed him in the pages of Final Crisis, and they killed him in the pages of the Batman comic to make sure that he was dead. But then obviously he came back. I don't know, 6 months later or something like that. And for a while, the new Batman was Dick Grayson. At some point, they decided to have Dick Grayson be Batman for a while, and it's when Damian Wayne pretty much became the newest or definite version of Robin nowadays. I think I saw only the first episode of the Mohawk Nightwing. I should watch more of it. When I get the chance, I'll try to watch all of it. I've only watched a few of their. I think I mixed them up with another group who does some videos. Just give me a little second. Sorry about that. So I think I mixed them up with the people who make Superpower Beatdown or something like that. But I'm pretty sure I saw at least one episode of DS Mohawk. I just didn't get. They're part of my. I have a whole bunch of favorites on YouTube. They're part of my regular favorites that I watch once in a while. But I didn't watch all their Nightwing stuff. Again, I think I watched only one episode. But once I get the chance, I'll try to watch more. Sorry, just looking. Right quick. What do you need me for in Gotham? Which mission do you need to do? Just let me finish this mission and I'll go help you out with your mission in just a minute. You said the East End, right? So I'll just finish this one here, and I'll come back in a bit to complete the other missions. So for the just to get back on the Avengers trailer to finish that before I forget. So there's quite a few nice moments in Avengers. We don't know all that much about the story, ironically enough. Obviously, it's Thanos who comes to Earth and who tries to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet. Is it going to involve just that or anything else in that? I guess we're gonna have to wait either for the next trailer, if there is a next trailer, or we'll have to wait for the film that comes out in about a month and a half, maybe. Well, there seems to be a bit of a falling out with the Russo brothers, the directors of Captain America Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier, and the upcoming Avenger film. Uh, Basically, from what I understand, they filmed Avengers Infinity War and what will be Avengers 4 back to back. So they're pretty much done with their part of the work in the Avengers movie, although there's still a whole bunch of post-production. I assume they'll finish that unless someone else finishes for them. But there seems to be a bit of a falling out, whereas the Russo brothers seems to be trying to launch their own studio. So here I am, Caris. So again, visually speaking, the Avengers movie, from what we saw in the trailer, It will. I'm not sure why I don't see. Oh, there it is. For PvP, you have to play PvP, earn marks of valor, and with the marks of valor, you have to purchase PvP gear. So you have to upgrade your PvP gear. In order to be able to do that, you have to play and play and play PvP, and it's pretty much that simple. So the more mark of valor you gain, the faster you'll be able to buy new PvP gear, to upgrade your PvP gear, which is what you need to do in order to progress with the PvP tiers. So you have to start by buying the 97 PvP gear. There is also a 96 set of PvP gear, but the truth is you don't really need to purchase the 96 PvP gear. So you have to purchase the 97th PvP gear. And then you have to purchase the complete 97th PvP gear. You have to purchase every single pieces you can. And once you purchase the entire 97 PvP gear, then you have to purchase the 98 PvP gear. And again, you have to purchase every single pieces of gear. You have to purchase 2 rings, you have to purchase the trinket, you have to purchase the weapon, you have to purchase the whole shebang. You have to buy the whole 97 PvP gear, but you also have to buy the weapon. Did you buy the weapon? Did you buy the trinket? Did you buy did you buy 2 rings? You have to purchase everything. No, 97 is not the max. There's a 98, there's a 91, 98, 99, 100, and I think that the last one is 101. So if you're at 97, you have quite a ways to go, especially considering that at combat rating 100, I think the price of each piece of gear goes up dramatically. So at some point it'll cost you like 5,000 marks of valor to purchase a single piece of gear. No, you just need the 1 weapon, but you need 2 rings. Did you purchase 2 rings? Did you purchase you say you purchased the trinket? I would have to look at your gear then, Andrew, to see what maybe you're missing. Obviously, if you can't see the gear, you're still missing something. I'd say did you purchase the mask, but you probably did. I'm not sure where our friend... Yeah, I saw the new stream. No, the PvE CR has nothing to do with PvP. You have to raise your PvE and PvP separately. Like you could raise your PvE to 200, it wouldn't affect your PvP at all. Same as you can raise your PvP to 100 and... Oh, our friend Carissa is gone. Oh well. So it doesn't matter, PvE doesn't matter. I'm going to go... I'm going to try and show you. So let's see. It's been a while.
Hey, neighbor, can I borrow some sugar?
That wasn't you in the group, Kyrie's? And let's go to the watchtower. The new environment looks good. Oh, sorry about that. I thought it was you. So give me a minute, and I'll try to go back to the east end to meet you there, Kyrie's. Yeah, the new model looks really good. So does the new environment. I couldn't help but notice with Aquaman that with their new models, they're going away from the square jaw that is typical to heroes, and they're trying to give them some softer features. I'm not too crazy about that, but it seems to be the trend. So what can you do? Okay, so for the PvP gear, if we look at our friend here, like you can see, I have the PvP weapon 99, the helmet, the neck piece, the mask is 100. But the mask and the back piece is 100. Pretty much everything else should be 99. There's at some point the Omnipotence gear also had PvP stats, like it had toughness. Sadly, they changed that at some point, so I'm stuck with two rings that don't really... I don't think those rings help me anymore in PvP, but it's the rings I got. Like basically, when I replaced those rings, I didn't purchase the how can I say that? I got rid of the PvP rings that I had, so sadly I'm stuck with two rings that doesn't really help me. So you have to get the PvP trinket. The PvP cola has nothing to do with your CR, but you should probably get that too. So you literally have to have everything: the trinket, the two rings, all your gear. Basically every single pieces of your gear has to be PvP gear, and it has to be upgraded to, in this case, the 99 CR. So since I have, so right now if I look at my PvP combat rating, like you can see my PvP combat rating is 99, but because of my rings that no longer works in PvP, my equipped combat rating is actually 91 now. Okay, I'll go join you in just a minute, Kyrie's. The Batman Rebirth emblem, right now, you have to look to the broker. Well, we'll do that in just a second if you wish. So if you look at the PvP vendor, like right now, I have access to the PvP 100 set of gear. So luckily, I don't have to purchase the 99 rings once more. So now I have access to the 100 PvP set of gear. So I'm going to be able to purchase the PvP rings that I need. Which, as you can see, sadly, will be quite a downgrade. Like my Omnipotence rings were quite an upgrade compared to the PvP rings I had. Sadly, no longer works anymore. So as you can see, like just the rings are 1500 marks of valor. The back piece, the chest piece, like you can see some of the pieces like 5000, 4000, 3000. So the PvP gear gets pretty expensive at this point. And as you can see right now, I cannot see the 101 PvP gear because I did not purchase the entire 100 PvP gear just yet. So again, in order to be able to see the gear, I would have to purchase 2 rings. I would have to purchase every single pieces of gear, the neck piece, the mask, everything, and the weapon. I guess I should purchase those next. If you have everything, Andrew, I'm not sure then why you cannot see the next set of gear. There has to be a reason. I can't think of it right now. Now let's go to the broker for half a second. Aha! Yeah, usually that's often what happens. I've seen a lot of players who would purchase 1 ring and not understand why it still wasn't showing up. So yeah, just having 1 ring is a mistake that a lot of people made. I'm pretty sure I made that early on as well. So you need to have 2 rings. There's no escaping it right now. Oh. That should work a bit better. Right now there's the Batman Rebirth emblem cash for 2 millions. If for some reason you don't want to purchase 2 millions for the emblem cash, you can see there's the plan for the Enhance emblem for 600,000. But at 600,000, that just gives you the plan. Then you have to craft the emblem. So and crafting the emblem can be a bit pricey. So I would strongly suggest, although you're gonna have to craft it anyways. Like if you purchase the Rebirth cash, you will have the emblem and you will have the plan to craft the enhanced emblem. But either way, you're gonna have to craft the enhanced emblem anyway. If for some reason you think that you're only going to use the enhanced version, that you don't need the regular version, then just buy the plan and craft the enhanced version. But either way, either you spend 2 million and you have the regular version, or you spend 600,000 and then you have to craft the enhanced version. The cache is a little box in which you have the emblem. Within the cache you have the emblem and you have the plan to craft the enhanced version of the emblem. Okay, Kyrie, so I'll wait for you for a bit. Let's go back to our tech wing. Okay, I'll be there in just a sec. The thing with the emblems is that they come in that little box, and somehow that little box doesn't show in the emblem section. So you have to literally look for the emblem, in that case the Batman Rebirth emblem, and then you have to purchase the little box. So I'm in the tech wing, Kyrie's. I'm right next to the crafting station. Oh, no problem, Flash Kid. I understand all too well. I wish there was a section in the broker where we could see all just the emblems, like the emblem cache. Sadly, you have to look for the emblem cache. I guess while we wait for Kyrie's, we could look on the broker a bit. Let's see what happens if we click emblem cache. Actually, it's just cache. So sadly, if we search for cache, we get all the cache in the world. Oh, you're welcome, Andrew. It's a bit counterintuitive the way they made the PvP gear work. So sadly, what I had to what I just told you, I had to explain to a lot of people throughout the years. A lot of people once they try to purchase some PvP gear are very confused. I should probably purchase some Beyond nodes. We'll see. So Kyrie's, remind me the name of your character. I think, did I friend you? Are you Miles Morales or nah? Is that you? Let's give him a little bow. Pretty cool. The Red Death set of gear looks really nice. They did a really good job with that. And those bats flying around, holy crap! We have to get a. We have to get a Batman aura before long. And last I checked, you could get the Red Death Batman set of gear for very cheap on the broker. So we can start friend Kyrie's with a what seems to be a freshly new Green Lantern character. How long have you been playing your Green Lantern, Kyrie's? That's what I thought since you're level 5, but you never know. Yes, the Batman Beyond style is on the broker. You have to look for the Beyond High Tech, I think, or something like that. It's been a while since I looked for the Batman Beyond gear, so I'm not sure how expensive it is right now on the broker. I would have to look it up next time we go close to the broker.
What's the matter? Scared? What's the matter? Scared? This is going to be good. No sweet dreams for Gotham City tonight.
Hello, Prodigy. Just playing with our friend Kyrie's here.
It's almost night.
We also got some news about the new Deluge DLC. I talked about that a bit here, but I'll make a video just about that a bit later tonight. So I guess our friend is done. Next time should be here. Well, then you should be happy. You're going to have a nice Atlantean set of gear that will be inspired by Mera. Well, actually, it's more than inspired. It's pretty much the Mera set of gear that you're going to be able to purchase in the Deluge DLC. And also, there's also an enhanced version which looks really nice. It has a lot of shiny bits to it.
Get away!
Try to stay calm.
Get away!
So I guess you are Garth of Earth. I'm sorry, I don't have any auras to give. Hello, Justin. So, Prodigy, you're Garth of Earth. It's a little bit of an inside joke. If you guys ever read the comic book Darkest Night, or Blackest Night, sorry. If you ever read Blackest Night, you have this evil Black Lantern ring. When they take over someone who just died, they say like Bruce Wayne, welcome to the Black Lantern Corps, or Ralph Dibny, or Carter Hall. But when they reach Aquaman, Aquaboy, or Aqualad, I should say, when they reach Aqualad, they just say like Garth of Earth, as if Aqualad doesn't have a last name. Sorry, Kyrie's. I've been saving my stabilizers for hopefully what will be the upcoming time capsules. And also, I don't think we can trade stabilizers. So either way, the answer is no. At 76, what I would suggest is play the Earth 3 content as much as you can. You should be able to get gear from that content. Either gear that will drop in missions, or gear that you can purchase from the Earth 3 vendor in the Earth 3 version of Gotham. So at combat rating 76, that's probably your better option right now. Although you can probably still play some tier 4 content to raise your combat rating a bit. These are the Bloodbath wings. Technically, they're, from what I understand, there's some old PvP villain gear, or villain style. But I was able to get them in a Prometheum lockbox. Which is why, even though I'm a hero, I have those wings that are made for evil villains. I'm not sure where our friend is going. But right now, as a free player, Entity, sorry, you should have access to the Deluge DLC.
You know, you're right.
Let me show you.
I'm not sure where our friend Kyrie's is going. Usually, from what I recall, the quest giver is on the other side, but whatever.
I'm on your side. That gas really has a hold on me. Better take care. Try and fight it. I've got her aboard.
So if you guys have a few questions, now's the time. I won't stay long. I won't stay much longer on. As I mentioned, basically I'm going to make a video specifically for the Deluge DLC. And I didn't have supper just yet, so I want to do that as well. The combat rating for Red Hood is 140 something, 144 maybe. I forget because it's been a long time since I last purchased the Red Hood gear. So I'm not sure exactly at what combat rating you gain access to it, but it's around 144, 145 I think. If you reach 144 and you still don't see the gear, then obviously it's a little more than that. But I will show you which vendor. Well, we'll just say goodbye to our friend here. Kyrie's, I'm gonna have to go, but maybe I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, I've been ready for quite a while. It was a bit of a it was a bit of a slump, I guess you should say. Like for a while, we've been ready for a new DLC for quite some time. Like last year when we had the Riddler DLC, then the Earth 3 DLC, then the Christmas seasonal, then the anniversary event. Like we had a whole bunch, uh, pretty much in a short span of time. And then for a long time, like pretty much since the anniversary event, yeah, we had the Valentine seasonal and the and right now we have the St. Patrick seasonal. But it's not quite the same. So for quite a while we didn't have all that much content. So we were a little bit overdue for the Deluge DLC. I wish we would have had it like March 1st or something. That would have been perfect. But I guess March 29th, that will have to do. So
Hello, combatant.
for the Red Hood
Authorized
gear,
member of
this is the
trading
vendor you
in
have
exchange for
to
sections
come
of
to.
state-of-the-art combat equipment.
Again, I think you have to be combat rating 144 or something in that range before you can actually purchase the gear. So if you're not there just yet, it would probably take a while for you to get there. So you have to. There's also. I will show you in a bit. So in the watchtower, you see there's a whole bunch of little robots in the tech wing. Like you see the tech wing right here. If you go a bit further in the tech wing, you have these little robots. These are pretty much all tier 8 vendors, I think. Or is it tier 7? I would have to look it up. Which I should probably make a video about just those little guys. But basically here's where they are in the watchtower. Let's go check where they are in the Hall of Doom. You guys are welcome. So if you ever create an evil villain, I'll show you where the very same vendors are in the Hall of Doom so that you'll know for next time. But I should probably make an update to at least some of the vendor. Some vendors are a bit different than they used to be. Some have been moved. So I guess an update for that wouldn't be a bad idea. And I'll show you also where to get the bloodbath wings, which you asked a bit earlier. But let's start with the little robots. So if you're in the Hall of Doom, it's pretty much the same pattern. You have to go past the tech wing, like this here is the tech wing. So if you go a bit further, the Drylander gear looks really nice. So here you have the very same little robots. So again, you have to go past the tech wing, and you have to look for those little equipment supplier robots. And for the bloodbath, I'm not sure if we have a display of that. Probably not. The helmet will be perfect to recreate the evil Mysterio from Marvel. I think it's the little guy for the bloodbath, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. So if you're looking for the bloodbath wings, this is where you can get them if you're an evil villain. Sadly, it's an old PvP style that is no longer available other than with this vendor. And again, the only reason why I have those wings for my my Multiverse character, It's because I was able to get them in a Prometheum lockbox. So normally for the Bloodbath wings, you have to be a villain. But if you're lucky enough, then you can have them on a hero. If you're lucky enough to get the Bloodbath wings from a Prometheum lockbox. So if you guys have any questions, now's the time. I'm going to sign off in just a few seconds. Should probably upgrade my evil dark side look a bit. I'm gonna have to look up for a few extra styles, I suppose. Although I guess there's always my evil Anti-Monitor look. Maybe next time I should use this character. We'll see. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Look up for a bit later tonight. I'll try to make a Deluge video. If not tonight, I'll do it tomorrow morning. Hopefully I should be able to do it tonight, but you never know. I'm gonna have to go have supper first, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you, Sauceaholic. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.